And we are live! Okay, there we go. Awesome. So let's see. I'm going to jump on the chat anyways, make sure nobody's neglected tonight. Everybody was having a good time. Ooh, that sounded good too. Oh, wow. Oh, there's some people are already here. Hello, everybody.
You prepped them early enough.
Thanks for being prepared. Oh, wait, no, that's me. Pandemonium. Moni, this will be fun. Okay. So I'm just going to give it a moment here. It looks like some people are filing in. I wonder how I can get it so that our faces can show up at the same time as the screen, because sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. Learning lessons right now. Let's see. So
I have no idea.
I have absolutely no clue. Maybe if I do stop presenting and then put it on here. Boom. I think I got it. So presenting hides our faces, but we want to be shown, because this is a show not only about Webpack, but it's also about people loving how Webpack works. No, we know how it works. Okay. Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining this live event. This is Webpack Live. We are going to be talking about Concord modules and context modules. They're two completely separate concepts, but they both start with C and end with modules. So we're going to talk about it. Tonight we have Chris Biscardi. I said that right?
You did.
Chris, where do you work at?
I work at Dropbox.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's freaking awesome. Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
So have you ever written any Webpack loaders or plugins before? We were talking about this last night.
Yeah, I've written, I guess, a bunch of them at this point.
Nice.
I wrote an entire static site generator off of Webpack loaders and plugins. So,
You know, I was telling somebody last night that you could write a custom loader to like be a feature of your framework or to make a framework around it. And then I thought about it. I was like, that's what Vue is, Vue.js, the Vue templates. That's like a prime feature. And then we have the wonderful, ever so humble, ever so kind, ever so brilliant, Henry Zhu. Da, 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 da. He's doing laundry, so he's going to be quiet. But he is the maintainer of Babel and works at, oh God, I always want to say bespoke, but it's not the term. Where do you work again, Henry? It's I'm going to look. I know. I'm going to answer this. I swear we're not wasting time. Behance. No. Yes. No.
yes.
Yes. Yes. I got it without looking. Okay. And Henry, you know, he's a Behance and maintainer of Babel and Lerna. So let's get to the actual business. Let's say hi to everybody. Hello. Oh, they're all quiet. They're like, whatever. Just tell us about this stuff, Sean. So I'll be candid with you. We're going to talk about Concord modules, and they have a lot of mystery behind them because they are kind of a impartial specification that got written as part of Webpack 2 back in the day before I joined the core team. But I think it's kind of important to talk about it because a common question that always comes up is, hey, Sean, when I want to bundle a library and also include other types of assets, how the hell am I supposed to have people use it if they don't use Webpack? And so the topic of Concord modules just came up a couple days ago, and Chris Biscardi and I think it's Mark Daglish brought it up, and so I want to talk about it for a moment. So let's pull up the old Concord module spec. Chris, so Chris has actually spent 2 days kind of studying this, and I put him on the spot by saying, hey, do you want to kind of explain a little bit how it works? You want to go ahead?
Yeah, is that my cue?
Go ahead.
Cool. So Concord modules are basically modules where instead of defining everything in your application. You can define the module types that exist in your package.json of that package. And then the application can take those specifications and define how it wants to deal with them.
Yeah, and
so
so
if you've
this
got
is a good example, right?
Yeah, you have
pull
that
up the
right now?
package as well. Yeah.
Yeah, so example package configuration right here. Basically, you put this Concord key in your package.json. The main and the server main there are exactly like the main key in your normal package.json. Except I found out that if you use Concord modules with Webpack 2 today, it will ignore package main and only use the Concord main.
Ooh,
So
interesting. Okay. So what are these types? How do they work?
So types is an object of glob to content type, basically. So this first one says that relative to the root of the module, every JavaScript file in the lib directory is going to give you an object when you require it, and the content type of that module is JavaScript in CommonJS form with ES5 features.
Yeah, that's legit. Okay. And so it kind of follows the same pattern, I guess, here as well?
Yes. So this is any less file in the entire project, and it is a style sheet, and the content type of the files are less files.
Okay. How about like something a little bit more, to me, unknown looking like this one here? I don't even know what that syntax is.
That says, so any file that is a PNG, a JPEG, or a GIF in the root of the project.
So is it like
will give you a URL. Yeah, it's a bit like that.
Okay. Oh yeah, go ahead. Go ahead and continue, sorry.
So yeah, any basically one of these image types, and then it will give you a URL basically when you require it, and the content type is an image.
Okay, so I think that makes sense so far. So I guess the next question is, if you are a Webpack user and you consume one of these modules, what does this mean in terms of loading the files? So let's say, like, do you actually have to explicitly require something out of this package, or is it more like a loader gets attached to it based upon like coming across it automatically?
So as far as I can tell for the loaders, there's an application loader database, basically. There's a default one, and then there's the ones that you can override. And those are attached to content types. So if you have style sheet /less, it will be processed by this, whatever it matches against in this application loader database.
Really?
So we've sort of indirectly correlated the files with a content type and a content type with a loader type.
Really? Oh, so like, oh. So you're kind of saying that like there could be a centralized database for your build system in which you would never have to actually worry about loading, like declaring these loaders maybe in a configuration?
Right. So like you could actually standardize on this somewhere and say, this is the way that this is loaded, which means that you don't have to deal with it. You just get it for free. And actually today, if you work with, I think JSON files or JavaScript files with Webpack and you declare a Concord module, that is the way it works. What? So like a JSON file will just come in as an object, and your JavaScript file will come in, and it handles import and export, which is really interesting.
What? Okay, so can we actually do the same? Like, so you have been so kind to create a repo. Can we, does this portion actually work? We can show both. Or are we going to have to do a little exploration and splunking?
We'll have to do some splunking if you want to copy that out and put it in, because I'm not sure where it fits into the Webpack config, since version 2 is actually schema validated. Even if it was there, it wouldn't pass the validation.
Yes, yeah, I know, right? But you know what? I wonder if Yeah, I think you're right. I don't know. Maybe this is the missing piece to the full implementation. And people out there, so like, guys, are we ridiculously confused at the moment? Oh, hey, look, let's see.
Screen is super small.
Yes. Sorry, everybody. Let's make it larger.
I'll also throw the link in so that they can.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. So, guys, you can follow this link and take a look at the specification by going here. Sorry about that. GitHub.com/webpack/Concord. And really, you know, the reason why I wanted to bring this up is because, hey, this is a common problem for anybody using a bundler who wants to have assets be treated like a first-class citizen. And right now, they're not. And so I think that it's important to share it. And I think it's kind of cool to be able to get people excited and maybe even try it and just report a crap ton of bugs if half of it doesn't work. Because I think this is really neat and a really awesome community project that we can iterate on. Only 50% confused. I know. To be honest, this is totally new to me too, Joshua. So some of the chatters are confused, and do not worry. That's okay. Should we just try it out? I think we should. All right, so
sure, let's try it out.
I have a repo here on this side, so let me pull that up. And then we'll just dive into it. And I'll switch over. All right, guys, I'll make this font larger in just a moment. I know we like those large fonts. Okay, that's obnoxious, but I think everybody can see okay. Let's just double check. Yeah, that looks pretty clear. Beautiful. All right, so no complaints so far. So, cool. Chris, let's just take a look and inspect what we have here. We got a README, yarn file, and then our ever so beloved Webpack configuration, where we have entry and output just in a bundle.
Yeah,
hey,
and something that's really cool about this is there's no loader specified here. Actually,
that is very cool.
So I think there's an implementation of the default sort of loaders that we were talking about before that already exists as part of Webpack.
Yes, that's right. That's right. Yeah, in this case, JSON is built in.
And JavaScript is too, apparently.
Yes.
Not in this repo, but I modified this repo to do it earlier.
Oh, very cool. Okay, so, and then what do we have here? What's this A folder?
So A is just a package, just like any other package. It could be anywhere. We're requiring that
and that's why
folder.
It has no modules, package JSON.
Right. Yeah. And if you open the package.json, we can look at. Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead. Sorry.
And this is basically just copying out the example that we looked at earlier. So if you see object.json here, or object/JSON inside types, that is what's going to be controlling how this JSON file loads.
Excellent. I like it. Okay, so technically, so what we've basically described is object/JSON. And so for any JSON file that gets loaded, it's going to have a content type of this. And built in, we'll have a specification to automatically handle JSON.
Yes.
Okay. And so that's the premise here.
Yeah, the premise is that this package is declaring what kind of content and what those content types turn into when you require them. And then the application, or this default application loader database, will handle actually processing them when you ask for them. Wow.
Okay. So technically, let's just see what we got. Not how kind of you. You already have added some scripts to package JSON. npm run build. Let's see what happened. Oh, did I not fully run yarn? Let's do this. Boom.
You may be running yarn, even though I did not put a lock file in there originally.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's probably what it was. So let's try it again. Run build. Boom. All right, cool.
Yeah, so there it is.
This was our file something. And some might say, well, Sean, this is already a feature of Webpack. I agree, but I think this is a good place to start. So should we do a little splunking for, let's say, like, we could try maybe 5 or 6 minutes. Yeah. And then if we don't get anywhere, we'll add it. We'll just submit a GitHub issue, because that's how open source works. And we can come up with some more ideas. This centralized loader database is what really excites me, because if people never had to define, you know, for the most part, like, to me, this speaks the ultimate sensible defaults, right? I mean, that's kind of how it feels to me.
Yeah, Batman, it's kind of similar to MIME types. And actually, if you look at the Concord specification page, it will mention MIME types.
Nice. Okay, cool. So let's just, I guess we could try one that's already declared here, right? So like, we know that, where is it?
I know that JavaScript will work.
Oh no, it's in the library. That's right. I always confuse.
Yes. Yes. So that's the interesting part about it, right?
You're right. So I wonder. Oh, so with Webpack 2, the application author can match module types to loaders.
Right.
But it doesn't say where.
Yes, and that's the stickler right now.
Should we maybe explore inside the Concord plugins in the resolver and see where it might look?
Yeah, let's check it out.
I have a feeling. Okay, so everybody, what we're going to do first, and this is something I always like to do when it comes to unknown Webpack features, is I just like to dive into the source. And so in this case, the module that we're going to look at is the Webpack resolver, and it lives in a separate package called Enhanced Resolve. So what's really great about Enhanced Resolve, and also super confusing at times, is that it is also a ginormous set of plugins that is applied to a single resolver factory. And so a little short like rundown, as you can see here. Whoa. You have, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You have a whole James Kyle is spamming me right now. Okay, anyways. Of different, so if you look, these are all your resolver property fields, and they all just map to plugins that are applied to this resolver. So you know, Sokra, the original author, was so nice to name the plugins appropriately. So we have a Concord main plugin, a Concord extensions plugin, and a Concord modules plugin. My heart tells me we're probably going to want to look in the Concord modules plugin. Yep. So I think we could probably just pull that up and see what we got going on here. So remember, folks, if you wanted to write your own custom resolver pattern, you can write a plugin just like you would you know, any other custom plugin, or you can look in the source of all of these and just mimic it and make your own custom ones and apply to the resolver and do crazy things. So let's see, what do we got here? Let's read through this. We have description file utils and create inner callback, get inner request. Concord. What? Is there's a Concord file? Oh.
Yeah, there is.
Looks like here's the glob parsing for that types field. Is typed matched? So is a type matched? Base type. So what are we doing here? We're testing a type against the base type and returning true or false, and then also is resource type matched? Is environment, context environments. Let's see, where's something we want to look for the actual like loader statement. These look specifically to the types themselves, all right?
Yeah, they're testing for sort of the features, I guess, which is the things that are added with plus signs after the actual content type, or like extensions. Exactly.
And it looks like it even handles a splitting pattern for the conditions. Yeah, so it's almost like its own syntax. Is match, modules field. Yeah, so I was just looking for the string, like the exclamation mark for a split. Okay. So let's jump back into Concord Modules and see if there's something in here.
So you were looking for the exclamation mark because that's usually the indicator for a loader?
Yeah, for chaining loaders or a loader split. Yeah, like this, the raw request will typically have it carried onto it.
Right.
So what are we doing here? We're saying description file, get the Concord field and match the request to the field. And if it exists, collect the data from the request and append it to the request that the user made, and then attach data onto it as well. So where does data come from? Concord match module. Okay. So maybe we could jump back in there really quick and find match module. And I know, guys, if this seems really confusing right now, we're going to jump to context modules, and I promise it'll be worth the wait. Match module. So let's see. New request. Iteration. Matches glob. So it tries the glob pattern. If it's a match, it does the replacement. No. Oh, it can even do recursive matching, I guess. Fancy. Okay, so I don't see anything yet. So I guess we could just try it and see what happens. See if we can put a we could just experiment and see what happens. So let's dive into the actual back into the library. I'm sure I could probably look in the other ones like Concord extensions. But I don't think that we'll find what we are looking for. Like relative path, main plugin. I think this is just looking for the main fields. Use from, yeah. Okay, cool. So let's jump back to the top level into the real codes. Let's just, you know, what, like const b equals require, I don't know.
There is also a test file for Concord.
Oh, is there?
Yes.
Where do you see that?
Enhanced require test Concord.
Oh, in enhanced require?
Or enhanced resolve, sorry.
Oh, really? Should we like dive that deep into it and find it? Let me see. Let's go back in there and take a look. Enhanced resolve. Okay, lib. I wonder if he published. No, the test isn't in here. Is it? No.
It's in the root test slash or enhanced resolve test.
Oh, I guess
it's in the GitHub repo. It may not be published.
That's okay. But let's try this. We could take potentially. Maybe I'll pull up the enhanced resolve on the browser to my left. But so I think what we could probably. You said that literally this is the one file that gets automatically resolved.
Yep.
But if we wanted to, we could probably say what, like a slash, I don't know, like foo.less or something, or foo.css.
Yeah, and it's not automatic. It's specified in the main file.
Do we have oh, so we'd have to use
in the main field.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so there's a main field, and then there's the server environment main field, which is also an interesting feature of Concord.
Interesting. So technically, what we've done effectively is we created a CSS module without actually needing to point a JS file at it. So like you could do this. I understand now.
Yeah.
So let's say we call it Concord.less, and let's just delete this. And we could do something like cool automatically lessified.
Wish all of my style sheets look like that.
I know, right?
Just empty.
Yeah, seriously. I'm not very style friendly. Okay, so let's just I can try this. Let's see what happens. Do we have an epic fail? All right.
We do.
Oh, but this is okay, I think. It says
this is what I would have expected, actually.
Okay.
Because
so we need some type of loader.
Yeah. Can we look at the webpack schema to see if there's anything there that would let loaders pass through?
We can certainly do that. Let's open a new window. Let's open up the webpacks and let's look inside the schema. And then if we don't find anything, then I think what we'll do is we'll go on webpack validation schema. No, wait, maybe it's just schemas / webpack option schemas. And I think, what did we call it again? So there's no Concord. There's no Concord automatically. Do we have a maybe it's a resolver property. Additional properties, items, alias fields, description files, file system, resolver, unsafe cache, use type. Wait, what? Oh no, that's just the type for the property. I got a little excited there, I'm not gonna lie. Additional properties. That means it could be a string. Okay, so I don't see anything here. I feel like the only other place, I feel like this is something that's defined in the package, right? Not here.
The
like that's what my
loader
heart tells
to
me.
file mapping?
Like basically taking the content type and matching it to a type of loader. Or maybe is the whole point
So
that you don't care as long as you know the content type that it maps to a certain type of loader.
Right. So the package defines the MIME type for the files that exist in the package, and then the application or the bundler that you're using handle the actual loading of it. So like Webpack itself could specify that you load less files like this, and that would be the default in the application database.
Excellent.
And then you could override that on an application level if you wanted to, but it's not part of the package requirement.
Interesting. Yeah, okay, so like to me, okay, so I think there doesn't look like there is a field for it, but I really want to pursue this because it looks like this would be incredibly useful, especially from a scalable standpoint. If you have a centralized database for a huge company that's using Webpack, you never have to define your loaders. Like, it's just automagical. And oh, hey, Adi Asmani and Henry they're spamming chat right now. All right, guys, I think, okay, so first of all, thank you so much for explaining this. Are we ready for some context modules? I'm feeling kind of saucy when it comes to context modules. And we could do it straight from this repo still. So let's see. Let's just do it. Guys, so if you don't know what context modules is, just spam the chat for a second. And Chris, do you know what a context module is?
Yeah, if you're talking about the context replacement and things like that, and require.context, and yes.
Yes. Yes. So why don't you tell me your understanding, and I'm gonna like slap together a little example.
Sure. So for example, if you wanted to require, say, a directory of files and you wanted all of the JavaScript files in that directory, you could use require.context to require the entire directory of JavaScript files in. What Webpack would do at that point is pull the files in, basically put them into a map that would be accessed by Webpack's internal module system when you made the request for the file later in the application.
Damn, so that was a good explanation. Keep going, sorry. Woo! I like it.
I was going to say, so you could do this to bundle a set of files and determine which one you wanted to access at runtime.
Okay.
Or something like that.
That's like the best description I've ever heard of it. I think the most confusing part is the fact that it's called a context. I wish we'd call it like a directory module or something like that. To me, that seems like it makes more sense. So what we can do here, I always like to describe it by the anatomy. So like a context module is a normal dependency statement that has an expression inside of it. But that expression has to at least have a partial string somewhere. And so, but it can also have a variable. It's kind of Webpack's solution to dynamic runtime loading, and also lazy loading in the case that I'm working in right now. So module, let's call it theme module name. And then we can get really particular and do .js.
I think you need an equal sign.
Oh, Henry popped in, dropping the mad logic. There you go, man. Thank you. You saved me. Okay, cool. So essentially what this gives us the power, well, I guess we could just build this right now and see what happens. This should probably come from here. I'll just do like some other stuff in here. So let's just build it. We're not requiring the Concord module, but we should have some sort of successful building happen. Or error. Cannot resolve theme. Oh, maybe I should call it themes, guys. Whoa! What? Okay, so I want to take a moment to just double check chat and make sure everybody processes what they just saw. So let's pull it up and let's make sure. Are we only on this screen? We are, so I can pull that up. All right, guys, so what you just saw is that I had a folder and I required the folder, but then that folder also has 3 resolvable modules inside of it based on the expression that I provided. So you can see here, Webpack can parse out of this expression themes, and then it'll create a module for every possible value that could come out of, you know, this folder. So because we stuck it in a dynamic import statement, we actually get automatically up front 3 separate chunks that can be asynchronously loaded. And so we can actually look inside and see, right now we're not actually doing anything with them because we don't export anything, but we can do something like that. We could say export default. I don't think that's gonna work. What is it like? Export default fonts equals boom. Is that the right way to do it? I always forget. Let's do what? Oh.
Which?
Let's do watch. Reach mode. Okay. No. Yeah, I'm totally wrong. We could just do this. I think it is. Cool. Yep. You can just do it. Got it. Export default. Maybe I'll call it like the theme name instead. And we'll do, last but not least, export default C. So I call this themes because this is a really cool scenario for if you wanted to apply additional themes to a file dynamically. I know that that's one of the common occurrences that come up. And so I guess if we look at our bundles now, hey, automatically we get that available to us. And let's just say in our code, you know, obviously we want to do something after we require this. Any dynamic import statement returns a promise, and so that promise yields the module. And then we're just going to do, I think, let's just do this. Const theme equals module.default. We could do console.log theme. Okay, so now what do we got in here? In our main bundle. So in our main bundle, if we dive down below to the module, there's the map that you've described. So it says there's a context and then the actual lazy loaded chunk that it refers to in its module ID. And hey, look, console log who? And also console logging the theme. Guys, gosh. Yes. Anybody have any questions so far? Do you have any questions? Henry, anything come to mind? Any brilliant thoughts? Or Chris?
No
the
thought.
floor is open. So this is just one. So this is what we call a context module. And the reason why is because you're not passing a full static string to your state. You're because the directory it lives in, and then a variable which represents all possible modules that can resolve from within inside. And so if you want to do like a cooler case, so like this is just one type. You can also do this. You can put them all into one module and still, or one chunk, by let's say doing const get sync stuff. We can use the same pattern, some stuff, and heck, we can also do normal strings. We could say themes and plus some stuff. We don't even need the .js because JS automatically resolves. And then constant stuff equals require. Let's see, what did I forget? Return require. I'm missing something.
Const is misspelled.
Oh, thank you. There we go. Cool. So, so now if we take a look, I want to actually clear our dist bundle to see what the adverse effects of bundling like this is.
There's some requests to increase the font size in chat.
Oh, sorry guys, let's do it. Here, full screen mode. So what have we done here? Actually, we've stuck everything in one chunk now, and it's inside a single bundle. And you can see that the definition for it and the other modules live, where are they? Are now all located inside of the same runtime. Check it out, look at that. So if you try and do a context, a async one and a synchronous one on the same modules, it's going to assume you want it up front first. That sounds fair enough, right? But we could also, let's say, create another folder for sync stuff. So sync stuff, and let's do a.js, e.js, c.js, and we can just do the same thing. So instead, we'll go to sync stuff. Get sync stuff. Sync stuff.
Get rid of the get.
How did that? What? I swear I didn't even add it. You guys are fast. It's so much easier when somebody's watching over your shoulder to be like, Sean, you did that wrong. So yeah, it still sticks it in one. But let's say if we just turn this into an import statement, I have a feeling we're going to have a slightly different. Hey, look! Now we have 6 bundles. And now we have 2 different dynamic statements. So like you could do something like, hey, if, you know, user did click on something, boom, get theme, and then you can pass whatever theme you'd like. So let's say theme A. Boom. And so, you know, if that condition existed when you ran your page, excellent. And so this is kind of a shorthand, but it's also a really awesome pattern for dynamic asynchronous and synchronous loading. Would it handle? It does actually handle nested. Yes, it does actually. So we could probably put this into one request and do the exact same thing. So let me see. Joshua Lunsford says, hey, Sean, does this handle multiple statements, like multiple path levels? So we could do something like, how would we want to do this? Let's say we went like add themes. And we want Babel themes, because they're definitely not bad themes. And Concord themes. Let's just say we just shove this stuff inside. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Uh-oh, that definitely didn't mean to go there. B, and we're adding, okay. So, wow. So, you know what's kind of funny is that this successfully just handled it the right way, which is kind of cool in itself. But let's modify the code so that we can actually do a multi-nested. So I guess I'm just going to get rid of this. And so we're in themes, and then we have a directory, so we probably call it like type of theme or theme quality. And we could probably pass.
And you can glob here too, right?
You can actually. I've never done it before, so I might have you walk me through that process. So let's see. What did we come up with? Let's just destroy, delete the dist, and let's start over. Okay. So now we only have 6 possible combinations, but we've now been able to have a flexible folder structure. So, you know, you could pass in your function, I want the bad themes with this theme module name. And as far as my understanding, it can go as deep as you want. So one thing that it cannot do, though, is this. And I like making this clear. This is considered a context module, but you get the famous critical dependency. The request of a dependency is an expression. And so what does this mean? Essentially, Webpack, by trying to do this, you're telling Webpack, I want to dynamically load whatever, whenever. And so that defeats the purpose of static bundling. If you already have those files in your source code, you should be able to statically resolve them by passing some sort of context about their location. And so that's where the term context module comes from. I'm trying to think what other fancy features are there? I think you can even do this. So let's say theme in A. You can do theme quality, and then watch this. We can say, let's say it's a type and ID. And I believe it will concatenate it together to handle that situation. Yep, it does. So I'll just build it again so you can see. So you can really granularize it as much as you'd like to handle whatever your use case scenario. So like what this will handle matching is you passing, let's say, theme and then A. You can literally join however you wanted. On top of that, let's say you had a scenario where you had like less.js. You're like, I do not want to load this, but you just basically added an extra option here. So, oh no, let's call it like less.JSON. Okay. So this is what you can actually do is provide more context on the other side. You can say .js, and boom! So you've essentially created a filter by passing more context. Yes, that's totally right, Batman's MK. So the question was, it is a cool way to make a build devices with, or by browser versions, or ... So basically trying to say, really, you can apply this to a whole bunch of scenarios. Like, so the first thing that always popped in my head was, what if you created a context matching library that reads certain types of available features through Modernizer? Like, wouldn't that be a cool idea where, let's say if you didn't support a certain type of thing, you could use, and you didn't need that feature right away. Well, you could use a context module to fetch a polyfill for a certain type of, CSS, feature or whatever. But one that I really like is themes, and then also A/B testing. So something I think somebody should go out and investigate is that A/B testing is this like pain in the ass. Like, I worked for an e-commerce company before I worked at Mutual of Omaha, and we had to A/B test everything. If this was around at the time, we could essentially have a folder called A/B test components, and literally we could swap out components based upon random scenarios and then track the statistics for them. If they're already going to be lazy modules, why not do it? But otherwise, what do you guys think? Context modules make sense? The silence is deafening. Oh, hey,
A/B testing is an awesome example.
We have a delay on our side, so it's natural. But yeah, I'm trying to think. So I should pull up a document and I'll share it with you guys, and maybe we can actually link this video from the documentation so people can see it. But let's jump back over to the Microsoft Surface, which this show is sponsored by. Unofficially, don't sue me.
As of 5 seconds ago.
As of 5 seconds ago. So why don't we actually go to a old school document about context modules that I think is really valuable. So webpack context modules. So this is actually part of our old documentation. And if, guys, you want to get involved, I would love to see this document migrated over to our V2 docs. So as you can see here, you saw some of these statements where you pass in partial, variable. But it can even go even further. You can pass a ternary operator into an expression. Or you can do things like not a.substring.replace, and it will find, the context for it. We use Acorn parser behind the scenes, and so it makes it super powerful to actually fetch that information. And basically create what they call evaluated expressions. So yeah, I think we've definitely gone an hour. And Henry's over there. I think he just literally fell asleep. He passed backwards. He passed out. So, guys, I think this might be all the time we have. Did anybody have any other questions? We went over a lot of stuff. If you do have questions, feel free to drop a note. I'm going to paste the link right now into the chat. So it's https://github.io/docs/context.html. Manually type.
I will say I'm super excited about the future of Concord.
Yes, like I really, I wish we had some more there. There we go. Is it for the Babel team? I don't know what that means. But yeah, so yeah, absolutely. I think that Concord modules could really solve a lot of awesome and interesting problems. So guys, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for Chris for explaining Concord modules more than even I knew the features existed. Like, I'm going to go now bug Tobias and start hacking away at this myself. And thank you, Henry, for being here and not at the same time. Also, thank you for everybody for joining. So feel free, if you want to support Webpack, you can always stop by our Gitter chat. You can always stop by our docs, submit a PR, tweet about Webpack, help other people about it, or you can convince your company to help support our open collective. Otherwise, if you have any questions, you can find me on Twitter at @thelarkin. And thank you, and have a great night.
See ya.
See ya. If you stop.